people are looking for retribution, were they on Raw or SmackDown? But other people are looking for payback. Wrestling with Emotion, brought to you by Pazda Electric, 716-698-2711. Residential or commercial electrical project? Call Pazda Electric, 716-698-2711. But we're joined here by, for lack of better term, the usual suspects. As always, our train wreck teammate, McAdoo in the bottom right. And we are joined again by the Talbots, Ryan and Owen in the bottom left. And the pleasure again to be joined by Mike Straw, Media, on my left. Gentlemen, I'll let whoever wants to go start. How are we doing going into Payback?
Don't go all at once, but I'm doing fine. I'm less. Obviously, this pay-per-view is going to be less than SummerSlam, but I mean, it's expected with a week less. I mean, week over, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
only a week of build.
Yeah, I was a little taken back there that when they said next weekend, I wasn't paying attention, I guess, to the pay-per-view schedule, so I was a little surprised they're already coming back with another pay-per-view, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, it actually has some decent matches on this card, so I'll wait it out and reserve judgment until after I watch and see how it goes.
I'm ready for a train wreck.
That's pretty good branding right there. And likely it could be. I mean, it definitely has been shuffled together at the last minute. We'll go through the card with this panel and then be joined at the end of the show by our main event, Matt Perino. So we're looking forward to that. But gentlemen, at the SummerSlam Fallout, what was your biggest takeaway? Let's start with Mike, go to the Talbots, and then finish up with McAdoo.
All right, so the biggest thing is that it was a great show ruined by one moment. And I loved everything about it, but man, that Wyatt Strowman match was god awful. I never want to see them again. And the Reigns return on top of that kind of bothered me, but I think it was because the match as a whole just was the drizzling turds.
Yeah, neither title match did much for me, and I get you had to have some kind of quick finish in that McIntyre-Orton match to extend that feud. But you're right, that Strowman-Fiend match left a lot to be desired. Nice to see Reigns come back, but here's what I hate. Now you have three tweeners, because I don't know who's supposed to be the heel in this match on tomorrow night. They kind of have sprinkled some seeds into the Fiend being a good guy with the whole Alexa Bliss storyline, I thought she'd be involved in that main event finish somehow, some way. Wasn't, but they extended that on SmackDown. Who knows what they ended up doing with Braun, but you just know for a fact Braun's taking the pin tomorrow. And then Reigns, with the new teeth looking good, now he's aligned himself with Heyman. So we're finally getting that heel turn that I've been wanting to see for quite a few years. Whether they're going to slow play it or not, we'll see. But you can't really go too slow if you're going to have Heyman out there with you or associated with him. Owen, what do you think? What did you think of the main event in SummerSlam as a whole?
That's a good shake.
Yeah, that's probably how we all react to that main event match. So fair enough, Owen.
I was going to say, it sounds like him and Mike are on the same page on that one. And McAdoo, what were your thoughts on the Slam of Summer?
I thought that, like you guys, the Fiend Strowman match could have been better. Going off of what Strowman did against Lashley last year, I thought they were going to end up breaking the Minitron there, because WWE has a tendency to redo stuff. Hence why we thought that they were going to break the ring at TakeOver. But I thought Dominic held his own against Seth, did very well in his match, and McIntyre and Orton. Well, we don't know what they're going to do because Orton has a match tomorrow night and McIntyre doesn't. So.
Agree with what you boys said. I think they were very fortunate that the matches, without titles or for the lesser titles delivered as well as they did, because it kind of took the pressure off of those championship matches to end the night. And we'll talk about this past week real quick. Obviously, my take, as I said to you guys in the rundown or whatnot, it didn't feel like much happened at Raw. Obviously, it had the crazy finish to it, but it felt like it was more of a Thunderdome night for Raw. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, it's like you have every story being unloaded like you're like a prank can of snakes. It's coming at you so fast you can't even see what's going on. let's go reverse order. McAdoo, Talbots, Mike. What was your takeaway from this past Raw and SmackDown, a build-up to Payback, just like in 30 seconds or so?
Ooh, it's not really the build-up. I wanted to bring up the controversy that happened on Raw with
Well, talk about it.
I don't know. Did you guys notice the two instances that happened?
Yeah. I hate people.
I knew it was going to happen immediately once they announced it. Like, someone's going to ruin it because
we can't have nice things.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to have nice things.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised by it, and I hope WWE does the right route and just bans them outright and just tries to because I thought they would have someone watching. I thought that there'd be someone watching and make sure that this stuff doesn't happen, but apparently I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That was a disaster with the different people popping up on the screen or what they were putting on the screens. But like you said, ban them for life, let some other people get the opportunity. But in terms of SmackDown, like you said, I just felt like they were just throwing things left and right. Right now you have Hardy involved in this feud with AJ Styles. Great. Liked how they had the title change with the knee brace playing a factor. Liked that it came into play against Shinsuke. And then you have Sami Zayn come out. So now, you have that title versus title, which we've seen many times before where people have come back from suspension or injury or whatever, and they've never lost the belt, and you have that feud. That's great, but they probably should have played out the Hardy-Styles feud first. So now there's just too many working parts there. I will say, and give them kudos, I did not see the Heyman-Roman Reigns alliance happening. I think, Owen, you were pretty stunned to hear that yourself, right? Definitely wasn't something I saw coming. Also, real quick, how bad do you feel for AJ Styles? The guy gets traded to SmackDown to get away from Paul Heyman. Now, mind you, it's because Heyman was booking it over there, but Heyman fires his two best friends or plays a role in that. He gets traded over to SmackDown in storyline, and now who's over there working the program? Heyman. It does seem like a Vince thing to do to kind of jab your talent a little bit, but it is what it is. But, yeah, the end of SmackDown, fantastic. Did not see that coming.
Here's my theory real quick before Mike goes. AJ Styles suggested the Thunderdome. We know he's a big video game guy. We know he's a big digital guy. This was Vince's way of getting back at him for what happened on Monday night. A little retribution from Vince. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't say anything else about what happened, that controversy stuff with what people were putting up. But Raw was the typical Raw, not much going on. The three Orton punts, I did like how they expanded that, and then Keith Lee getting involved. I'm interested to see that dynamic, and hopefully Lee debuts a new theme tomorrow. But
why can't he keep his NXT theme? I just want to bask in his glory.
So basically, there's a legal issue with how much money WWE owns the rights to a lot of themes. So we're gonna see a lot of themes change over the next couple months. But the SmackDown thing, yeah, it was kind of like the writers got ADD and didn't know what to do. The Sami Zayn return made me super happy. The Roman Reigns, because I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan, so seeing those two wrestle will make me pop. The Roman Reigns Paul Heyman thing, yeah, it's a heel turn coming that, man, was I so happy to see. And the only way they can ruin it at this point is keeping Roman Reigns with the same Shield gear and the same Shield music. It's the only way I think they can ruin it. If he doesn't come out with something new tomorrow night, then it's a lost cause already, in my opinion.
I'm going to jump in here, though. It seems like everyone is changing their gear. You had Strowman come out in some weird ensemble from catering. You have Sheamus dressing up in his beater now and the hat and the taped up hands. So it does seem like people are getting new gear. So you're right, though. Get him out of that. Get him into something a little bit different there. And then just real quick with one last thing on Raw, it does seem like they're kind of already burying Raw Underground. There wasn't all the hype and promotion this week. It was just at 10 o'clock, yeah, it happened, it took place, so, and I'm okay with that. So whatever angle they're hoping to get out of this, hopefully they're speeding it up and kind of ending it sooner rather than later, because now you're having main card guys fight main card guys. You can't have a clear ending like Ziggler getting thrown into the crowd and things like that. And it's already kind of worked its course, in my opinion.
I would have loved Raw Underground just to be the way to establish Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Melina Shafir as the dominant force. Like, that is the only thing I was hoping to see come out of that, and it didn't even seem like they want to do that now. So, because we don't need, like, it just would have been a nice way to introduce the true four horsewomen of wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, it would just.
You would see? I got one right here for
Yeah.
you.
That would have been a great way. Like, you wait until she eventually comes back, because we know it's going to happen, just a matter of when. Probably when fans are back. But I think would have been a great way to, like, reintroduce her. But
Yeah, it'll
But I
be
think they
very
want the
interesting to see what they do. Yeah, the pop will be insane for when Ronda Rousey comes back. But yeah, Raw Underground, it started with a head of steam. You had Shane McMahon running around, pointing at everybody who had to fight, and now it feels like it's lost a little bit of that flair, for lack of a better term. But hey, for lack of a better term, let's get into the event. We're going to start off talking Cruz versus Bobby Lashley. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been this pumped up for an arm wrestling match since Great Khali versus Triple H. So, love to see that this past week. But where is this feud going? We'll go back around the round table. Straw, Talbot, McAdoo. What's going to happen with Cruz Lashley? Is there going to be some hurt business, risky business? What's going to happen?
I think this is the night we see Lashley take that belt, and I think this is finally the night, after a lot of weird back and forth, this is the night we see one of Cruz's friends turn on him. And I keep thinking like it's gonna be Cedric, but at this point I don't know. But it's gonna be one of them. I just hope one of them joins ship, because I want to see. The Hurt Business is doing so well right now. They are the best, in my opinion, the best faction on main roster TV right now, or best group, tag team, whatever you want to call them. But I feel they need that younger star that they can kind of mold, and I'm hoping it's one of those three Ricochets. It's got to be Ricochet, Cedric, or Mustafa.
And they need a belt to add some legitimacy to that group for
That's
sure.
not the 24/7 40 I-95 South 7-Eleven.
Yes, Mike, how dare you try and progress two storylines at once by turning Cruz into a heelish mode and giving the Hurt Business a push? Talbot, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think this is the night that Cruz loses the title. Any of those three guys, though, aligned with him turning would be great. Ricochet, I'd love to see him after, it just feels like he's been buried ever since he had that pay-per-view main event fight against Lesnar, which wasn't much of a fight there. It's just been all downhill since then. So turn him, maybe let it be a surprise, because they're making it look like Cedric Alexander's going to be the guy. Mustafa Ali, another talented guy, came back, strong victory, and you have him losing on main event to Riddick Moss, or whatever his name is. So, those are all talented guys. Give one of them some shine, have him move over to that group. Apollo Crews, I'm glad his star has been elevated during this pandemic, but probably time to take the title off of him and give it over to Lashley, who is the star of the Hurt Business. What do you think?
Well, I think Bobby Lashley.
You have Lashley winning too. How's he going to win?
Maybe a spear.
Maybe a spear, okay.
And any shenanigans?
Any interference?
I think MVP.
MVP.
Oh,
makes sense.
yeah, that would be the least surprising thing. So it's probably Owens dialed into the WWE.
But MVP interferes of Bobby Lashley, and the referee doesn't look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how they do it.
The referees are never looking when you need them to. It's unbelievable.
Hey, sometimes they're hurt. You gotta give them a second.
Oh, my eye!
This light tap, they're gonna knock me on the ground for 5
Oh, those
minutes.
are actually my favorite, when they get grazed and just get hit by a suburban vehicle.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be Cedric Alexander that turns. He's gonna cost Cruz the match. I don't know why I was blanking there for a second. Lashley's gonna win, and I don't know why I keep thinking of the Hurt Locker when it's the Hurt Business, but they're gonna hold the United States title for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, the Hurt Business is going to be good in America when they have the U.S. title. I also agree. I think there's some type of shenanigans. I don't know which. I think Alexander makes the most sense, because Ricochet is kind of, in my mind, at least an established star. His thing. This would be a good opportunity to kind of propel Alexander and give him a dynamic. And then, the Business getting a title is definitely best for business. Best for business. Oh, what do you got, McAdoo?
I was about to say, I see Ricochet as a lifetime face, just like Mysterio. I don't know why. It's just I don't see him turning heel ever.
I dig that. I dig that for sure.
It's hard for me to take luchadors as heels. Just because people want to pop for those moves. The only ones who did it right to me are the Guerreros. They're the only ones who had those types of movesets, but made you hate them at times.
Yeah, Chavo was easy to hate. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's something about being bald and having facial hair, I think. We're easy to do.
Yep, they were talented as hell at that for sure. And so obviously we all think Bobby Lashley winning would be best for the business and the Hurt business. But one thing
Cruz
that fans
is just a B+ player.
fair. I see what you did there.
Triple
But one thing that fans have argued on what would be best for, whether it was best for business, was the elevation of Keith Lee to the main roster. But the WWE obviously shows that they have some type of idea for him, because they have him facing off against the Viper, one of the most established stars on the WWE roster today, Randy Orton. We're going to go reverse order, McAdoo, Talbot, Straw. What do you think happens when the glory of Keith Lee goes to Viperville and takes on Randy Orton?
You know, I thought it was funny how immediately after Keith Lee lost, every WB fan is like, yeah, he's going to the main roster. There's no doubt. But honestly, I don't know. This is a match I've gone back and forth with a little bit, because I think they want to push Lee, but at the same time, it's his first match. And Orton can take the loss, but if I gotta pick, I'm gonna go with Lee, because I think Orton can, like I said, Orton can take the loss. It's not gonna hurt him in the long run, and Lee can get the push.
Who do you have one?
I think Lee.
You think Lee? I'm with Lee as well, because he had his first match, but it was kind of a non-finish there. You don't really want this guy coming in that you're hyping up as being a potential big-time player losing in his first match, even if it is against Randy Orton. I know they kind of wrote off McIntyre as a serious injury, after the third punt, but maybe he interferes, or someone interferes to cause a distraction that leads to Lee winning this match. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a clean finish, but I don't see what you get out of having Lee lose this quickly. I'm not sure, why they would put him in there with Orton necessarily right away on this pay-per-view. You could have gone a different route with his debut and who he interrupted. I did like that. I thought that was a nice interrupt. I like the promo that he caught, but kind of a weird mini feud in between this main event feud.
For me, there was no better. For Lee's debut, there was no better because of how talented I think he is and how much I enjoy him. Injecting him right into a main event storyline is the only way I think you could have debuted him. Do I like what they did? No. They were on the right idea, the right path. I see him going over tomorrow because, like McAdoo said, Orton can take the loss easily. I actually think he beats Orton clean. And then Orton tries to do something after, then Lee gets a one-up. But I'm really interested to see what they do. I'm upset about the circumstances behind his departure of NXT, just because of what we found out after the fact with Karrion Kross. But it was. I'm hopeful that Lee turns this into a big main event, because I was of the mindset that his first main roster show should have been winning the title. That should have been it. And I think he's on that path. And in my opinion, they might set something up or do something to where he's the guy that takes it off McIntyre, which I think would be fantastic. I don't know. I just feel like they think the sky's the limit with this guy.
Yep, you were obviously lamenting at the fact that they had Cross and Lee going at each other last week, and it's funny how the fallout has gone from that. Any chance that this is where Edge gets back involved?
No.
You set up something for Survivor Series?
No, I don't think he wrestles again until fans are back.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm thinking Rumble at the earliest.
I guess we got to be thankful. We're eating our vegetables right now so we can have our steaks come Royal Rumble and WrestleMania time. I'll take Keith Lee to win as well, though. I think that it's kind of hard to debut a guy, like we all agreed. Randy Orton can take this loss, and he'll still be fine on Monday Night Raw. If Keith Lee loses, it's like, well, why is this guy even on the main roster? He's got no momentum. They've given new guys momentum recently, like I believe Riddle beat AJ Styles his first night, so these vets putting over the new guys to the roster, definitely beneficial. Let's take a quick step back. I know we're all NXT peeps, so because of Cross no longer being the champion, a fatal four-way Iron Man match. Well, not even a fatal four-way Iron Man, just a four-way Iron Man match. Has this ever happened in like WWE?
I don't think it's ever happened anywhere.
Not a four-way match.
Oh,
And if it has, it's on an indie show that no one, like a local indie, but I doubt, no, I don't think this type of match has ever happened.
So it's an Iron Man match? I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, the concept of it is cool in theory. I'm looking forward to it because, you know, they'll each get a few pinfalls or submissions along the way, but then at the end, someone's going to beat the clock to become the champion. Something's going to happen close to that wire finish, so I'm looking forward.
No doubt. And you've got Adam Cole, Baby. You've got Tommaso Ciampa. You have Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. And the returning, well, I guess you can call it returning, but Finn Balor back to the main event title picture. How do you guys see this one going out? I guess plain and simple. You got Gargano and Ciampa who have shown they have chemistry, worlds and beyond. You have Adam Cole, who literally showed that he can work with someone, you know, new to the business without even planning a match from what he did with McAfee. And then obviously you have Balor, who, you know, when you look at it, is kind of maybe the king of NXT. I mean, I get that Cole had a great run, and I get that, you know, others have had great runs, but it feels like Balor was really there when it made that ascension and rose to the top. So starting with Mike, and then going to the Talbots and McAdoo, what do you think happens in this NXT Iron Man 4-Way Championship?
So, personally, I'd like to see Goldie go home to Ciampa, but I have a feeling, and I wouldn't be against it either, but I think they go back with Cole. Cross getting hurt kind of threw everything off, which is terrible. But I think they go back to Cole with the belt, and then we start to see some dissension in the ranks with Undisputed Era finally.
Owen, who do you have in this match?
I think I'm gonna go with Finn Balor.
And I actually had Finn Balor winning it as well. I think Finn Balor was brought back to NXT to kind of elevate it, being on USA, and then he kind of got lost in the shuffle for a while with some of these feuds and some of these matches and storylines. So I think this is a great opportunity for him to get the belt back, have him get a little bit of a title run, and maybe he then drops the title back to Cross when Cross is healthy, setting up a rematch where then he can come out with the full face paint and set up that match there, which I think would have a lot of potential in terms of fan excitement and build and things like that. So I'm going to go with Balor winning the title. I wouldn't call it a surprise or an upset, but I think he'll win late with a coup de grace, last second pin someone to win it all.
It's funny you bring up Finn Balor, because when his match with Thatcher happened last weekend, every time he has a match lately, I go, oh yeah, he's on NXT. Completely forget he exists.
Yeah,
He's got there's no momentum with him. Everything he's done lately is just unmemorable. Like, it's forgettable, I should say. It's easier to say. But yeah, I've completely forgot he's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes forget about him. He's one of my top 4 in NXT, and actually, this is the top 4 for my favorites in NXT. And as far as style of this match goes, I'm pretty sure I think it's gonna be, they're gonna go tied with about 2 minutes remaining, and I think Gargano is gonna do something dirty, and he's gonna take the win, bring the championship back, and it's gonna be no more Johnny failure.
That would be an incredible culmination of that storyline for him, obviously. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens. I think they go the Adam Cole route. I think that maybe Triple H a little concerned about how he would translate at the next level under Vince. I guess Vince still calling the shots there. Want to preserve that stardom of Adam Cole, who really is a top wrestler in the business right now. Put the title back on him, and you can still have about 3 to 5 good feuds with anybody on that roster. So very interesting to see. And before we get back all in on WWE Payback, any thoughts on All Out coming from AEW, gentlemen? I know the Talbots said they're not as big All Elite Wrestling guys over at that household, but Shaw, McAdoo, any thoughts on that event? Or one quick one before we get back into WWE?
MJF 2020.
Yeah, I will say I hope they put the belt on MJF in this. I mean, I did watch this past Thursday night or wherever they aired, and they have him fighting the lawyer next week, Moxley, that is. But MJF's the best thing they have going over there. They really built him up the right way. I just think that you put the belt on him, and he's that guy that when he does end up dropping the title, fans when they're going to go nuts for it just because they hate the guy. And he's a perfect heel, old school. Even when you go back and look at all these photo shoots that he does with these kids, where he's flipping them off, and he's kind of like that '80s heel in 2020, which I kind of like. So I'm hoping MJF does win the belt.
Yeah, AEW, and it's also proven to me that Chris Jericho is a treasure that needs to be protected from 2020 at all costs. He is the funniest. Like everything, nothing seems forced at this point. It's just comical to me, and the stuff with him, Orange Cat. It's a nice breath of fresh air for me. But yeah, MJF and Moxley, that match to tear the house down. Moxley has been. I mean, there's a reason he was PWI's #1 in the top 500 this year. I mean, he's been revitalized. He's doing good stuff. He's a lot better of a wrestler than I think anybody expected or saw in WWE. So I expect that match to be a barn burner.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for a while now with MJF. MJF is doing the Miz better than the Miz could do the Miz. MJF, I love him. Like, he's probably my favorite guy in AEW just because he doesn't care. He proves that he does not care every time he goes up there, opens his mouth. And it's just like he does. There's a lot of stuff I've watched on YouTube that he does, like, "Hey Josh, I heard you're a big fan. I don't care," like, and other stuff that I'm not going to repeat because, well, obvious reasons. But and then Moxley, you could tell he hated it here, obviously because he didn't come back. But when he had his make fun of Roman's cancer, that was the last straw, and you can tell when he's gone to AEW, he loves it there more because he's more open. It's more of what he wants to do and less of what Vince wants to do.
I will say, regardless of what you think, the depth of the characters that they apply in AEW is infinite compared to what they do in WWE. It's like when someone has motivations in WWE, it's typically for a singular reason or someone attacks someone. They literally, the character motivations and everything, I hate to say it, maybe it's just that's their specific angle of the approach, but that's something that WWE could definitely benefit on. I'm surprised no one mentioned Adam the Hangman Page no longer being in the Elite, but
it doesn't surprise me. He said like 5 months ago he didn't want to be in the Elite anymore, so he just
but
made
it's
sure
still
they
a
made the
big
decision.
storyline. The Elite are the #1 faction in all of wrestling right now, right?
Yeah, I'm over the Elite. I love Kenny Omega, but the Young Bucks can go away for a while.
They've had their moment. It was awesome seeing them at Nickel City Con in 2018. It was a great time.
Remember conventions?
Oh my gosh. They let me walk right up to them without a mask. It was crazy. Okay, but no masking our emotions on this next match. I think we're all going to be on the same Adam the Hangman Page on this one. We got King Corbin against everyone's favorite dude, bro, Matt Riddle. I'll let Shaw start it off. We'll go Talbot's McAdoo. What happened? Is Corbin going to collect his king's ransom on Riddle, or is he going to be duded out?
Riddle's winning, but man, do I hate it. I do not like Matt Riddle. I've never liked Matt Riddle. I don't like his gimmick. He's not a gimmick, and that's why they gotta like him. That's his personality, and I don't like people like that. I just never have been attracted to him. I've stopped being friends with people like that. My brother is the type of personality Matt Riddle is, and I don't like my brother. And I love my brother. I don't like my brother. Because
they really took a quick turn. They got an Undertaker Kane thing going on over there.
Your brother or your bro?
I hate you. I'm gonna block you immediately after this is over. I know Riddle's winning. I know they're behind him. My wife loves Matt Riddle, but I think she loves him out of spite from how much I don't like him. And the flip flops, the slow talking. I don't need the SpongeBob surfer fish to come to life every week.
Yeah, we have Riddle winning this one too. I don't know if he can ever be the top star on SmackDown or anything like that. He often puts his foot in his mouth backstage, like he has multiple times with Lesnar and other wrestling, Goldberg.
Yeah, you mean he's not facing Goldberg at WrestleMania this year?
I appreciate that, though, what he does, what he tries to do backstage, because the answer is always no if you never take a shot.
Right.
So good for you on that, but go away.
He's trying to be, and he is a legitimate fighter based on his background and his career. But I could see that eventually, especially with Vince running the show, souring him on Riddle because of the way he approaches other wrestlers or rubs off on other guys. I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he does something to Roman Reigns that Reigns doesn't like, or one of the other top stars. So wins this one, but I don't know what the ceiling is for him on SmackDown.
Bro, I understand why Mike doesn't like Riddle that much because I'm not too big on him. I don't know why wrestlers that don't wear boots. It's just I hate it. It's just something against me. Corbin, he's gonna take a lot of falls until he gets back to being a face, I think. And yeah.
They need to dump that King Corbin gimmick. I used to love the King of the Ring. I hate that when you win the King of the Ring, you automatically get pigeonholed into this stupid I'm a king gimmick. It's like, no, that's not just, no. I love Baron Corbin, and that made me not like him anymore. This whole
The last good King of the Ring was 2006. I wish they would bring it back every year and have the pay-per-views like they did, because it was actually something that was good. Ever since they stopped the pay-per-views, it's been dog crap.
Yeah, I miss where it's like, this gets you a guaranteed title shot. Granted, they replaced that with Money in the Bank, I guess. I get. But it still would be nice. It's like, all right, King of the Ring, the tournament, it sets up the main event of a filler pay-per-view between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. That's where I think it should be. Like, keep it on television, not a pay-per-view. But I'd love to see that come back where it's like, okay, you get a title shot, and then on whatever brand you represent, and then that's the main story for a filler pay-per-view.
When you think about it, King of the Ring is so boomer, and Money in the Bank is totally millennial. I just realized that, Alec. There needs to be like gratification. It needs to be constantly in your face. Very interesting. Speaking of boomers versus millennials, you got the Mysterios versus the Cole. Oh, by the way, I think Riddle's obviously going to be victorious. Oh, by the way, could be a good transition to making Corbin. Like, nobody in the locker room respects him. You couldn't beat Riddle or whatever. He gets back, shuffled down in the middle card. Could be a good chance for him to go to a face, and then could establish Riddle as the king of the bros. So you could have a little nice transition there. We have the Mysterios versus the Cult, as I'll call him, though. Monday Night Messiah and his protege or whatever, his disciple. I'm only going to call him the disciple until he actually plays a role in something or does some serious mic work. But a little bit of an interesting match to be scheduling this after you had Rollins beat Dominic last week in a crazy match at SummerSlam. I feel like this is the payback that the Mysterios get. They kind of owe Seth Rollins maybe for 2 eyes on this one if you go by an eye for an eye. Let's go reverse order. McAdoo, Talbot, Straw. What happens when the family faces off versus the faction?
I think La Familia is going to get the win here. I feel like Murphy's going to take the fall. Dominic's going to get the pin to give him the push because if he's going to continue to do this, they have to push him somehow, and this is a good way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, who do you have, Owen?
I have the Mysterios.
I agree with the Mysterios. Dominic, really nice frog splash in that match at SummerSlam. Maybe that's his finisher. I know you could do the 619, you could do all that, but yeah, I definitely have the Mysterios winning this one. They've lost quite a few matches to Rollins over the last few months, so they're time to get a win.
Probably Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio are going to both do 619.
Yeah, at some point. Probably to Murphy.
Maybe something.
Oh, and if you and your dad had to have a matching finisher move, what one would you pick?
I would pick the spear.
Oh my gosh, you guys spearing you could spear somebody into oblivion. And if you had to face if you could pick one tag team, he's looking like Mr. Burns over there.
Right.
If you had to pick one tag team or 2 wrestlers to face, Owen, with you and your dad, who would you pick?
I would pick Brock Lesnar.
And who? So we're gonna lose then. We're gonna lose. We're not gonna win that.
Brock Lesnar and James Ellsworth.
I get you think your dad's a superhero? What is Brock Lesnar?
Oh my! Does your dad have life insurance, Owen?
I know.
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh! I thought he was thinking because he's like, I want someone I could beat,
Right.
and then he just goes Lesnar.
Local talent. Just bring them in.
Where's Megabyte Ronnie when you need him? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What you fail to realize is he just booked y'all as the local talent.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Lesnar's coming in for $1 million plus for this match, so we're not going over.
I mean, he could have said Goldberg.
Okay, there are. And Straw, what do you got?
I think the Mysterios win. I think Dom gets the pin on the Disciple. I've been super impressed. That's one thing. Like, I was more than impressed on what he did on at SummerSlam and on Raw. So I think they got something here with him.
No, most definitely. I think we've all been impressed at Dominic Mysterio quickly. Obviously he's been around the business his whole life virtually, but just what it naturally is, safe to say. So I think they get their payback over the Cult. You're right. Rollins doesn't have to eat the pin. He could be frustrated with the Disciple, could lead to progression in that storyline. Despite this not being the strongest card, there's a solid chance for all these matches to progress the storylines for the wrestlers involved. And that's all you can really hope for from the storytelling point. We are just moments away from main event Matt Perino joining us. We have, though, the role models, Bailey and Banks versus Baszler and Jax. I'm going to go first on this one before we go Straw Talbot, McAdoo. I think that this is a swerve. You're expecting that Bailey and Banks are going to drop the titles to progress their storyline. But this is an angle where you have two powerhouses on the other side that haven't really teamed together, don't really like each other. It feels a little convoluted, and I think you'll see maybe even Banks saved like Bailey, like from taking the pin and like winning the match or something. Like maybe Banks saves Bailey and then like wins the match somehow on her own. Like some kind of angle that gets Banks back with a little swagger, because I think they're extending this all the way to WrestleMania. And the more you guys talk about waiting for the crowd moments and everything, it only makes sense to me that they would hold this match off at least another 6 to 8 months. So a good way to do that, swerve the crowd with what should be a loss here if you wanted to continue their downfall. But instead, they'll actually have a big win with the dynamic to it. Let's go Straw Talbot's McAdoo. What do we got happening when the role models face off versus Baszler and Jax?
I see this being a no finish type of match, or no contest, because I think Baszler and Jax actually get close, and then one of them does something to make the other one mad, and they fight, and to the point the ref calls for the bell, and then it's done, and then Bailey and Banks like celebrate as if they won this magical match, and then they run off.
That would be great.
They we defeated the two baddest women in the WWE, and then they run off celebrating and everything. But that's how I see it. Banks did a nice little tease last night, saying that she was going to get her vengeance, and then like stared daggers into Bailey. But yeah, I don't see it happening that quick, where Banks loses her belt, then they lose the tag belts, and then it's over. I don't see it just yet, but I think this is a no contest because of Baszler and Jax.
Who do you have winning this one?
Baszler and Jax.
See, and I'm going to actually go with you guys and say that you have Bailey and Sasha retain the titles. Like Mike said, maybe the two start fighting outside the ring and they actually get counted out. And you have Sasha and Bailey win because the team itself is fighting one another. It just feels forced. This is not a real tag team that they're going against. It's a feud that's going to progress probably on that side as well, between Baszler and between Nia Jax. So wait until there's a team that can come through and really get that push that they need. I don't know who that would be, because that women's tag division is hurting quite a bit right now. So for now, keep it on Sasha and Bailey until you can find a better team to kind of take the straps off of them.
What about a group that's iconic?
I love them, but they come back, they get a few wins, and they get lost in the shuffle.
McAdoo, what do you got?
Honestly, coming into when we started this, we brought it up. I was like, "Oh God, here we go." I hated this match when it was announced. Like, it's stupid build. We know who's gonna. I thought when this match was announced, like that they had to defend the titles, it was gonna be a loss for them. But then you started talking. It's like maybe it could be a swerve. Maybe that you're gonna have, like Mike said, that Baszler and Jax fight each other and they'll get counted out and whatnot. So I think Bailey and Banks. Oh my God!
Mike was about to reach through the computer and take you out if you forgot about the boss.
I don't know why this is happening, but like Bailey and Banks, I think they will retain the titles. And like you guys said, we probably have to deal with them being champions for a while.
Okay, so we'll see. Yeah, we actually all think that Bailey and Banks are going to retain. So we're savvy WWE fans. It is main event time. We got the Fiend versus the returning Roman Reigns, who wants to wreck everything. versus the monster among men turned insane asylum stayer, Braun Strowman. The biggest thing, again, that sticks out to me, and Ryan, you alluded to it earlier, there's a legit chance that The Fiend is the face in this match. Just on the support that he's got from the WWE Universe, the fact that Reigns is now with the Advocate, Paul Heyman, which is something that we didn't really touch on too much. But then you have Strowman, who's just kind of in this flux, and it feels like, I think as Mike mentioned, he's definitely going to be taking the pin in that situation. So with that said, gentlemen, let's go McAdoo, Straw, and then Talbots. We'll mix it up for the main event. Who do we have winning this match? How do you got it happen? And give us your 2 cents. Oh man, there it is. You think he has a new theme? Do you think he has a new theme with Heyman?
You have to think that they're going to throw away his old theme because he's a heel now. It seems every time they do a face heel turn, it's a different theme. I honestly have Roman Reigns winning this. He never lost the belt. This is his opportunity. You have to expect him to get it back. I know you guys hated it. You guys said your frustrations. I had goosebumps when he returned. I love this guy. He wins. Strowman takes the fall. Fiend, unfortunately, is the third wheel in this match.
Mike, what do you got? I wasn't sure if you were frozen because you just had this look of dismay looking at the ground. I was like, is he lagging? No, he is just crushed by this main event right now.
I know he's getting the title. I hate the fact that it's on the Fiend right now because to me, he can't. He's gonna be the face, and moving forward, I don't think that gimmick can be a face. I don't like the fact. Why is Google apparently? Google thought I wanted to search. I don't think that gimmick can be a face.
Don't say that too loud. Mine's over there.
I don't. But yeah, Reigns is getting the belt in some way, shape, or form, and it bothers me because I've enjoyed it with him not being on my television. He's X-Pac of the current generation, where him not on my TV makes for a better experience.
You have Owen.
I'm having going in for the Fiend.
Thank you. I like you.
And here's where I'm torn.
He doesn't like me too much.
Here's where I'm torn because eventually the belt is going back to Roman Reigns. There's no doubt about it. But why put the belt on the Fiend on Sunday if you're going to have him lose it this quickly?
Especially if he's not going to take the pin next week.
Right. So I'm actually kind of torn on this. I could see it being where Reigns spears Strowman, looks like he's going to win, and then you get the cheap Fiend taking Reigns and throwing him out of the ring, getting the pinfall really quickly, and kind of getting that one up where you get a really steamed Roman Reigns after. Maybe that leads to even those two not even having a match, but Reigns attacking him on SmackDown. I keep going back to the stinking Otis storyline. What are you going to do with this guy? You have to give him a flimsy title run at some point, because if you just have him lose the match in a squash or something, what was the point of the Money in the Bank? So maybe after the Fiend retains on Sunday, Reigns just absolutely destroys him in the back or wherever on SmackDown. Otis gets the belt, and then maybe that's how you put the belt on Roman Reigns, because then it's a much more believable thing where, okay, Reigns just destroys Otis. Otis is out of the main event picture. The briefcase is gone. Move him back to the tag team title scene, and then you can have the Fiend feuding with Roman Reigns for the belt, where, you know, the reason he lost it was because he got destroyed by Reigns in the back. You can work this out, but I'm having the Fiend win it. Don't take the belt off him this quickly. I was actually of the belief that he was that character that doesn't need a title, but if you're going to put it on him, don't drop it off of him this quickly. That just, again, hurts his character.
Yeah, agreed. And I like the Otis idea because, Reigns being on SmackDown and Otis being on SmackDown kind of just, I didn't like it. Like, I thought it was really funny and cool when he won it, but as time went on, I'm like, this is really stupid. He doesn't fit into any of that. I don't take him credible when going up against, even if he could take that briefcase and go to either brand, I don't see him credible against the likes of a Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, The Fiend. Like, can you really see Otis?
No, he's a tag team guy, and that's why when he won it, I was like, this is the stupidest thing they've ever done. legitimately, I don't see how unless they put it on someone else like they did back in 2007 when Kennedy lost it to Edge. There's no payoff. I don't.
The more you guys talk about it, honestly, the more I think what Ryan actually said makes, not that it doesn't make sense, everybody, it would just be a little bit more extended, but makes a ton of sense. You have the Fiend retain here at Payback. You have Reigns destroy Firefly House Bray. So he's in the middle of the ring in his red sweater, and then Otis comes and pins him. And then what can you have? The next week or whatever, Otis has to face the Fiend, and you see the real trouble with, you can't just win Money in the Bank because you'll have the title for a week and you'll lose it. It doesn't necessarily get you forever. Something like that angle, but they could definitely use the Fiend and Funhouse Bray here to kind of give them a little bit of wiggle room with how they treat the character. Please, if the Fiend gets pinned clean, I'll wear a Fiend mask on my Zoom call for work or something. I'll do that or whatever. I don't know what's going on.
If he gets pinned clean, you shave your hair.
I mean, it's that much of a long shot, right?
Yeah,
really?
there's no way.
They would be annihilating the character then. I think they learned their lesson from that in Dadbird.
Yeah, Strowman they've destroyed and brought back multiple times. The Fiend is not a gimmick where you can do that. You already did it once during the Rollins thing, during the Goldberg. Putting the belt on him in the first place was a terrible decision. But you can't do it twice in a year and expect that character to get over again.
Real quick, shout out to WWE for that build-up to the WrestleMania programs that they have on the network, where actually, Strowman, real quick, even though he's getting buried, seeing him get emotional about being bullied growing up and seeing how he had to highly recommend that if you haven't watched it yet for anyone on the WWE Network. I think it's like the 24 or 7 on the lead up to WrestleMania. Really good story about him at least. And even though he is kind of going to become an afterthought in this main event picture after this, I'm glad he at least got the belt for a little bit, because when he was really hot, I think it was in 2017, and they didn't put the belt on him.
It was during the Reigns storyline. Or it was when he was with Money in the Bank, too.
Yeah.
Because he cashed in on...
Yeah. And they had their opportunities with him when he was on fire. So I wish that they would have done it earlier, but I'm glad he at least did get some kind of reign out of this.
Hey, all I hope is at some point during this match, Strowman is just laying into Reigns, and Reigns tries to walk away or stagger away, and he just goes, "I'm not finished with you."
And then Wyatt comes out with the "anybody but you" Roman, and then we have a full throwback.
Yes, these two should definitely team up on Roman Reigns at some point during this match, right? They should give each other a look and just be like, "This is a guy that we've both been terrorized by over the years, so let's just crush him." Hopefully it is a crazy storyline. I got the Fiend retaining, though, just locking in my pick. A huge thank you to our Trainwreck teammate, Zach McAdoo. A huge shout-out to Mike Straw Media, 2 consecutive guest appearances. And a huge best of luck to the Talbots on their upcoming match against Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. I can't wait to see the training montage for that one. It's going to be like Vince getting ready for the Royal Rumble.
Wait till you see the hospital bill.
When's the contract signing?
We will have to get that on Trainwreck Sports. But shout out for everyone tuning in. It's wrestling with opinion. It's wrestling with passion. And it's wrestling with emotion. Brought to you by Pazda Electric. And I got to say, a huge apology to our guy, Matt Perino. We ran out of time. Shout out to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you're following along on Twitter. Because with wrestling with emotion, it's then, now, forever.